For 3D breathing, you will need a yoga strap or something equivalent. So you could use a scarf or a resistance band. If you have none of those, you can use your hands, and I'll show you how to use all of them. So if you're using a strap, you're going to bring it around behind your back so that it comes across your rib cage, and then you'll tuck your elbows into the sides, and then you're going to gently pull the strap against the back of your torso and the sides of your torso so you can feel it around your ribs. You could also cross the front of the strap so you can feel around the front of the ribs as well. Option 2, if you're using a scarf or a piece of fabric, you can wrap it around your ribcage. So you can do the same thing with a resistance band. So you're going to wrap it snugly around your ribs. You're going to come under your pecs or under your breasts, and you're going to wrap it snugly around your rib cage, and then you're going to just tuck it in. So I'll show you what I've done here. So I've just folded it in at the back, kind of wherever you run out of fabric. Okay, so that will be one way. We want it snug so we can feel the feedback from our rib cage as it moves, and I'll describe how to do this practice in just a moment. I'm going to untie myself here. Oops. And then if you're using your hands, we can wrap our hands around the side of the rib cage so you can kind of feel a little bit at the back, at the sides, and at the front. And if your arms don't bend this way, you can cross your arms so that your hands are just pointing to the back instead of pointing to the front. So there are 3 ways to access this practice. I'm going to use the strap. So if you are, if you've got the fabric wrapped around your ribs, you can just let your arms come down and rest. If you're holding on to the strap or your resistance band, so you can use a scarf, but you can do it the same way. You can do it like this too. We're just, and I'll show you so you can see the back, right? So I'm just gently pulling forward without creating tension or strain through my neck and my shoulders. And again, you can do this in sitting or in standing. So we're just going to take a moment to settle, allowing the shoulders to sink away from the ears. And we're letting the breath come in through the nose and out through the nose. And start to notice where you're experiencing the movement of your breath in your body. So most of us can feel the breath coming in and out through our nose. Some of you will feel your chest and collarbones lift and drop with each breath in and out. And so this is strongly linked with using our secondary respiratory muscles of our neck and our shoulders, which can contribute to our neck and shoulder pain. Some of us will be able to feel the breath moving more down into our rib cage where our diaphragm sits. And depending on how tight and gripped we are through our belly, sometimes our belly will be able to expand as well. So what we want to be able to do for this practice is start to experience the breath moving into our rib cage. So as we breathe in, we want to think of our rib cage as expanding in 360 degrees. So the rib cage expands forward on in-breath and then contracts inward. The back of the ribs expand back and the side of the ribs expand out. And so we're using the strap as feedback for how our rib cage responds. One way that we can enhance this experience if we're not sure what we're feeling is we can try taking a few breaths in and out through the mouth. And let me demonstrate. Watch my rib cage as I do it. Try this a couple times on your own. Breathing in through the mouth and then out. So that has exaggerated the movement of the rib cage. We don't want to breathe in and out through the mouth on a regular basis because that can bring us into a state of hyperarousal, hypervigilance, and our nervous system will regard that as danger and fight flight response, and so we don't want that. So let's breathe now in and out through our nose, and you can close your eyes if you'd like. And maybe noticing that you start to feel the breath maybe in the front, maybe in the back, or maybe just the sides. One cue that I often give clients is to imagine that there is an umbrella inside your rib cage. So if we look at my skeleton guy here, the umbrella is going to, let me use the end of the umbrella is going to come up inside the rib cage, and as you inhale, the umbrella opens and it's pressing the ribs forward, it's pressing the ribs out to the side and back, and then as you exhale, the umbrella closes and everything draws back inward. So that can be a helpful visualization as you do this 3D breathing. Inhaling, ribs expand. Exhaling, ribs contract. Let's try it a few more times. And don't be discouraged if you can't sense it right away. It might take a couple days of practicing it for a couple minutes for your body and your breath to connect. And once you can sense that 3D expansion of your ribs on the inhale and the contraction on the exhale, you can release the strap and take a few more breaths in the same way and see if you can continue to sense that movement in your ribs. And no problem if you can't. That's why it's a practice. It will develop over time, so have fun exploring. Oh, and I guess before I turn off the video, spend a couple minutes. You can, up to 5 minutes with this practice. You can do it a couple times a day if you wish, or as often as you'd like throughout the week.